through the course of the night, the pain got real bad. I had to, at that point, pull some strings for the doctor's offices to in turn give me medication to get the CAT scan, if I remember correctly. I was scheduled the next morning for an IVC filter that goes inside the other artery of the other side of my body, which would come up. This IVC filter would in turn help declots in my legs, and that so if God forbid they moved up, I wouldn't have a heart attack or any other complications with the blood clots. Again, at that point, because I had gotten so much blood at surgery, I still was not getting my blood where it needed to be. I was unable to receive the blood thinners at that point in order to help the AFib and those clots. My doctor, Dr. Homainen and Dr. Cohen, came in on Monday morning, and even though I was told that this IVC filter was the best route to go, was very happy that upon Monday morning getting my two doctors on the same page, able to have them explain to me the best routes and course of action, thus being the filter. The filter is put in a 2 to supposedly 3-4 minute procedure, where I went back down to recovery and had a warm welcome from everybody because I believe I had scared them previous. A little afraid for what I was going through. I did have them give me some mild sedation, just enough to get through the procedure, but the procedure that they do just calls for some lidocaine in the groin area, and it's such a quick thing. But in fact, I did have the drugs at that point. This was Monday, and at that point my parents had come and I had this procedure to help with the clots. Monday I was taken back to my room, where I believe Nurse Roxy became my nurse, a phenomenal nurse, an incredible attitude, and she helped me through everything. I will not deny not one other nurse is not as excellent, but Roxy, in my eyes this week, has been one of the top-notch nurses. Nilda also, and Dee. Dee, I had a little bit of my wrath because of having to challenge the doctors for me, but again, that's another story to come. So that was Monday. Monday I had the filter put in. Both my doctors agreed it was the best route for me, and that's what we did. Monday I proceeded to receive morphine through my IV, believing I was only able to get like 1 cc, but upstairs I was able to get 2 to 4 cc's at that time. At this time, my body had been through a lot of trauma and pain. I did wake up Tuesday with my blood, my PPT tests throughout the course of the day. They had taken blood tests, I would like to say what I believe, every half hour to hour. It might have gotten a little bit longer to make sure my levels were up. Again, with the painkillers and trying to find the level to get me where I need to be in a safe zone. And that was Tuesday. At this point, I was unable to move whatsoever. I'd like to step back and say that, yes, on Sunday, I was sat up in preparation to go home Monday, when realizing the blood clots had grown. So Friday was the surgery, recovery was Friday afternoon, ICU was Saturday, the day I was supposed to go home, ICU was Sunday, sat me up, cleaned me up, and hoping to push for a Monday withdrawal. And Monday, I ended up with the IVC filter. So again, hoping that would help me, and again, discussed possible going home on Wednesday, but on Wednesday is where I again had the problems and the challenges. Again, notes will have to show the night that I started with the pain. It was either Tuesday night or Wednesday night. As the pain started, I would like to say at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and started spasming in my leg. Some of it from the hematoma blood clot from my stomach, because as I was healing, I was getting worse. I had Rita, who is a rapid response nurse, come in. Again, I'm not sure if it was Tuesday or Wednesday. She treated me. She was able to give me a Valium to help calm me a little bit. I was able to continue, I believe, on the Dilaudid. Well, again, we'll have to look at it. It was either the morphine or the Dilaudid. It was the morphine, excuse me. And to see what was going on. At this point, I was only given like 1 cc of the morphine. This was 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. At that point, Rita went home, and I just had some of the other nurses here, and the pain started setting in. The pain set in so much that I began screaming beyond belief. I was asking them to please find out the doctor that at this point that I was able to get more morphine to help me with my pain as it started beating my body up. And so from what I've learned, that I was on 2 to 4 cc's in ICU, only 1 cc here, and I couldn't move from the spasms. They had to get me into the CT scan, which was absolutely impossible, as I was just bearing down so hard with the I don't even know if there's a word to describe the pain that I had gone through. Come early in the morning, well, I'm going to say 4 or 5, I started calling the emergency lines for both Dr. Yolles-Hill and Dr. Cohen myself. I was up against one of the poor nurses, Dee, that I kept screaming to her to please call Dr. Newart's nurse to up my morphine enough to get my body. I asked her to give me 2 cc's of morphine, a catheter, and a CT scan stat. I couldn't move. I knew something was getting terribly wrong. My stomach was becoming harder, and the pain was just off the charts. Again, taking it into my own hands at that point, the best I could reach were the phones. I called Edna, who was the nurse manager at extension 655699. I had Dee, the head nurse, and I don't remember who the PCA was. The poor thing, I scared them so much because they had already been with me one night, a couple nights before, and I had explained to them I was in pain, but they had not seen this part of any of this, and I was trying to be on the up and up with them, understanding how they were checking my blood levels, how they were checking my temperature, and as the same way I kept them abreast of the pain level and everything else. At that point, I believe this was morning of Wednesday, they figured out after that whole mess that I was in turn started to bleeding again, and the hematoma had to come out. We had both doctors, Fehlbaum, surgeon, Dr. Herminen, and Dr. Yolles-Cohen all on the same page. I was so thankful for that, and they all agreed that it had to come out. Another procedure where they go through my leg and they take that hematoma out. This was the one that was getting bigger and more painful, so it was a horrifying night, and it just wrecked my body beyond belief. They went through my leg, my right leg. I do not know to this day at this point where these staples came from. I was told I had inner staples in my thighs, and I had outer staples, which I had still not seen at this point. I knew I had sandbags on my legs, and they were watching me very carefully to make sure that I'm still not bleeding or dripping or anything. It was a very, very painful time, and I was in this bed the whole time, and these girls were just amazing. It made me feel very special as they all were here. Roxy again had come through at some point, and she also made sure she was on staff to help me. I did have surgery, I believe it was Wednesday, August 29th, where Dr. Feldman successfully took out the hemoglobin in my stomach. I believe that was that, and through Wednesday night, and Thursday. At this point, I received my own drip machine. I believe it was a Dilatta drip to help me with the pain, because the pain was so absolutely off the charts at that point. I had gone through 2 different times of using the catheter. A lot of the problems with the blood cots were putting a lot of pressure in my front area, and so I begged them to put catheters in to help alleviate the pressure, that being one of the most painful parts of Friday's experience. And again, with the experience with the hematoma being removed, was all the pressure that I had. As I came out of that one, I again got cleaned up and tried to sit up with the notion that it would all be okay and I could possibly try and get up. Through the course of that day and the next day, I have now incurred a fever. Fever was low grade, between 99 and 101. They showed me how to read my fever. They watched my blood pressure super carefully. I was on a Tylenol drip. I was on a heparin drip. I was on an antibiotic drip. I was on another blood transfusion drip. And I was also on a Dilatta drip, with blood being taken very often. And that's where I left off. I'm going to let this go for right now as I regain my thoughts. Today is Friday, September 1st, and I just wanted to catch you up from the procedures that have happened to date. But I would like to also, when I come back tomorrow to this video, just to tell you where I am in the last 2-3 days, because I'm still not able to sit up and use a toilet, and the pain is just unbearable, and I'm very tired. I'm so very tired. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.